You want to change your life in a week? Then understand this. Who you are right now must die. Not improved, not upgraded, erased. You don't transform a weak frame by putting armor over it. You strip it to the bone, break it, and rebuild it with steel. The current version of you, the passive, the hesitant, the people pleaser, is a liability. Everything that's keeping you average is wired into that identity. The indecision, the emotional outbursts, the approval seeking. It's all part of that decaying structure you're clinging to. Burn it. You're not here to find yourself. That's a lie fed to you by the weak to keep you soft. You're here to create someone unrecognizable, someone cold, calculating, unshakable, someone who doesn't ask for permission, he takes. That requires brutality, ruthless self-awareness, and zero tolerance for comfort. The world isn't waiting for your potential, it rewards your results. Comfort is a prison, and Machiavelli knew men must either be caressed or annihilated. You must annihilate the man you were told to be, and forge the one you're destined to become. No more negotiation, no more self-help noise. Just war against the old self. So here's your first command. Comment below, "I am becoming unrecognizable." And mean it. That phrase is not motivation. It's a declaration of war. This is dark power. This is the beginning, and this is the part where you stop being human and become something else. Master emotional coldness. If you want control over your life, you must first master the storm inside you. Emotions are the battlefield. Weak men lose there every time. Rage, jealousy, sadness, guilt. These are useful only when weaponized. Left unchecked, they betray you. They make you predictable, soft, easy to control. And in a world built on power plays, predictability is a death sentence. The man who reacts emotionally is the one who always loses. Negotiations, respect, relationships, everything. Coldness is not cruelty, it's clarity. The world teaches you to open up, be vulnerable, express yourself. That's psychological suicide. That's how you give enemies the blueprint to dismantle you. Instead, become unreadable. Emotionless does not mean numb. It means disciplined, controlled, strategic. You feel everything, but you display nothing, because the man who can't be emotionally manipulated can't be broken. Machiavelli warned, "A man who is feared is safer than a man who is loved." But first, you must become feared by yourself. You must fear the consequences of emotional weakness more than the momentary relief of reaction. Never show anger, leverage it. Never show sadness, channel it. Never show desperation, kill it. Your silence should disturb people. Your calm should make them nervous. When you operate with emotional precision, people stop trying to play you because they can't read the game anymore. Comment below, "My mind is cold. My actions are calculated." Burn that phrase into your DNA. Part 3. Rewire the narrative. Every man lives inside a story. Most don't even know who wrote it. You've been living by a script, handed down by weak parents, insecure teachers, distracted society. Be nice. Don't offend anyone. Fit in. It's a pathetic narrative, and you've been hypnotized by it. That story has been your prison. But here's the truth. Whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. So now, you write your own myth. One rooted in strategy, control, and absolute self-dominance. The version of you that stays broke, overthinks, hesitates, fears confrontation. That version is not real. That's programming. That's psychological malware. You don't fix it, you overwrite it. From this point forward, every move you make must align with a new identity, not trying to improve, not doing your best. That language is weak. Replace it. Say this: I command outcomes. I do not ask. I do not wait. I move like I already own what others are still hoping for. That's how a new identity gets installed. Through repetition and action, not wishful thinking. Change the words you use internally. Kill phrases like "I hope," I think, maybe someday. Those are the whispers of the defeated. You rewire your story by refusing to speak like prey. You are no longer a man trying to find direction. You are the architect of domination, a mind that operates like a weapon, a presence that bends rooms without effort. You want to become unrecognizable. Then speak like the man you fear, act like the man they warn you about, and think like the man no one can control. Comment below. I am the author of my reality. Let the weak talk about purpose. You're writing a legacy. Part 4. Build ruthless discipline. If you want to become unrecognizable in 7 days, understand this. Discipline is not a habit, it's a religion, and you must become its most fanatical follower. Motivation is a myth. It's a temporary high fed by external noise. Discipline is the cold, mechanical system that moves regardless of how you feel. The average man only acts when it's convenient. But convenience is for the disposable. The dangerous move with precision, not passion. They don't need to feel like doing something. They execute because the mission demands it. Your current life is the sum total of your ability to do what you should do, even when you don't want to. Want better results? Burn the idea that balance and feeling good come first. You're not here to feel. You're here to build, steel, brick, blood. That's the material of kings. Discipline is the most Machiavellian tool you'll ever sharpen. It's not just about waking up early or hitting the gym. It's about becoming a man who cannot be moved by external resistance. No weather, no mood, no excuse. You do it because you said you would. That makes you lethal. When you become a man of your word to yourself, the world begins to submit to your gravity. Most men betray themselves before breakfast. They hit snooze, they scroll, they procrastinate. Then they wonder why no one takes them seriously, not even life. But you, from now on, you follow a simple rule. Do the hard thing, first and fast. Before doubt can whisper, before weakness can speak, you move. Discipline isn't loud, it's not flashy. It's cold, silent, mechanical. It shows up when no one claps. It works when no one watches. It builds when no one believes. That's how true power grows, slow, unseen, unshakable. If your life feels chaotic, it's not the world. It's your lack of personal law. Create rituals, set rules, enforce them like a tyrant. And when your feelings try to argue, execute anyway. The world bends for the man who cannot be distracted. Comment below. My discipline is absolute. My will is law. This is not self-help. This is war strategy. Part 5. Erase the need for approval. If you want to become untouchable, erase the need for approval. Completely. Not reduce it. Not manage it. Destroy it. Approval is the leash that keeps men docile. It's the invisible chain wrapped around your throat, tugged by opinions, expectations, validation. You want to know why you hesitate, why you overthink, why you hold back your potential like it's something you need permission to unleash. Because deep down, you're still waiting for someone to clap, still waiting for someone to nod before you act. That makes you weak. That makes you predictable. That makes you controllable. The Machiavellian man does not ask. He decides. He declares. He acts. If others agree, fine. If they don't, even better. It reveals who fears power. And those who fear power always submit to it. This world is a theater of manipulation. Everyone's selling an identity, trying to control perception. But you burn the stage. You walk off script. The man who erases the need for approval becomes terrifying because you can't guilt him, shame him, or sway him. He is an immovable object, cold, unreactive, indifferent to judgment. That is real freedom, and in freedom, you gain leverage. When you no longer need people to accept you, you control the frame. You decide the value of your words, your image, your presence. Not because others agreed, but because you did. From this point forward, treat validation like a drug. The more you need it, the more you're enslaved by it. Every like, every compliment, every head nod, it's bait, and you will not be baited. You are no longer a performer. You are a tactician, strategic, detached. You say what needs to be said, not what they want to hear. You move how power moves, unapologetically, ruthlessly, above reproach. If they misunderstand you, good. Let them. The wolf is never concerned with the opinion of the sheep. And you don't just wear the mask of indifference, you become it. Not because you don't care, but because their approval is irrelevant to your mission. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved when one of the two must be lacking. And you must decide, will you be loved by the masses or feared by the system? One path leads to applause, the other leads to sovereignty. Choose sovereignty, choose to become untouchable. That means mastering solitude, speaking less, observing more, making moves without announcement, acting without applause. The less you explain yourself, the more powerful you appear. Silence becomes your armor. Purpose becomes your only compass. Approval becomes a relic of the man you buried. Say it aloud, write it, burn it in. I do not need approval. I command my reality. Comment it below. Let the world know the leash is off. Part 6. Weaponize your presence. Your presence is either a weapon or a liability. There is no neutral. Every time you enter a room, people instantly scan for weakness. Facial expression, posture, tone, hesitation. They don't do it consciously. It's biological. It's ancient. Humans are predators, and predators test prey. If your presence signals uncertainty, approval-seeking, or emotional chaos, you're instantly categorized. Background noise, not a threat. Invisible, replaceable, forgettable. But when your presence carries weight, when your silence hits harder than their words, when your eyes say, "I don't flinch," when your energy makes them double-check their behavior, that's when you become recognized without having to say a word. And that right there is the beginning of dominance. You don't need loudness, you don't need gimmicks, you don't need to prove anything, you need gravity. And gravity starts with internal command. A man at war with himself cannot radiate strength. A man at peace with his purpose doesn't need to speak to be heard. So start here. Discipline your nervous system. No fidgeting, no over-explaining, no reactive facial expressions. You must become unreadable. Why? Because when they can't read you, they can't predict you. When they can't predict you, they can't control you. When they can't control you, they respect you. And in the Machiavellian playbook, respect beats likability every time. Build your presence like you build a weapon, meticulously. Speak slower than you're comfortable with. Move less. Lock eyes, but not to intimidate, to assess. Posture must be relaxed, not stiff. You're not trying to act powerful. You are powerful, and power doesn't beg to be seen. It simply is. Own space without chasing attention. Enter every room as if you were invited by fate, not by people. Confidence isn't a mood, it's the absence of permission-seeking. Confidence is, I exist on my terms. I do not flinch. I do not chase. I do not explain. Stop smiling to be liked. Smile with intent. Make it rare. Make it calculated. A weapon is more terrifying when you don't know when it'll strike. That's your presence now. Calm, sharp, unavailable. Learn to love the discomfort others feel around your power. That tension, it's proof your energy no longer signals submission. It commands awareness. The weak will resent it. Let them. The strong will recognize it. That's how alliances are built. Real ones. Power attracts power. Not noise, not ego. Presence. Machiavelli didn't preach chaos. He preached control, influence, strategy. Your presence must reflect that. Become the man who says little but owns the room. Become the man who doesn't need a spotlight. He is the gravity pulling the spotlight in. No wasted words, no rushed movements. Every step calculated, every glance deliberate, every silence deafening. This transformation isn't theatrical. It's internal. You build it in the silence of your routine, in the posture you hold when no one's watching, in the standards you set and enforce without announcement. Until one day you walk in and everyone feels it. They don't know why, but they feel it. Something about you says, he doesn't need anyone. He sees everything. He can't be played. That is presence forged in fire. Comment below, my presence is power. My silence is control. Let them wonder who you're becoming. Part 7. Master strategic isolation. If you truly want to become unrecognizable, you must disappear first. Not from the world, but from their world. Strategic isolation is not loneliness. It's not depression. It's the conscious withdrawal from distraction, noise, weakness, and all forms of diluted thinking. It's how a king retreats before launching an empire. The crowd wants you to stay accessible, familiar, the same version of yourself they're comfortable with. But evolution requires exile. You must exit the echo chamber of comfort and step into a fortress of silence, because transformation does not happen in the spotlight. It happens behind closed doors where no one claps, no one sees, and no one saves you. You isolate not to escape, but to forge. You must strip away the dopamine-fueled noise. No more fake relationships that revolve around shared complaints. No more scrolling through lives that don't concern you. No more constant conversations that distract you from the one voice that actually matters, your own. Strategic isolation is not about hating the world. It's about choosing to build outside of it, above it. You're not detaching out of spite. You're detaching out of purpose. You don't isolate to feel safe. You isolate to become dangerous. You become the ghost that reemerges as a weapon. The version of you that the world knew before must no longer exist when you return. You leave as a man and return as a myth. Why do most men stay weak? Because they fear the silence. They fear what they'll hear when the distractions stop. They're addicted to being constantly validated, constantly comforted, constantly entertained. They are terrified of sitting in a room alone with their own thoughts because deep down they know they've betrayed themselves. But you walk into that silence like a battlefield. You face the mental chaos. You study it. You confront your demons like an executioner. That's the level of self-awareness that turns a man into a tactician. Machiavelli understood that men are either shaped by the court or by the shadows, and the most dangerous leaders, those who command true influence, were not sculpted by the approval of others, but by their willingness to walk alone, bleed alone, sharpen alone. Solitude is the crucible of kings. Strategic isolation turns pain into precision. It's where you analyze your weaknesses without mercy, where you burn the parts of you that held you back, emotion, distraction, dependency. And from that fire, you don't just grow. You emerge with cold vision. You learn to see patterns people miss. You operate above social programming. You recognize manipulation before it happens. And more importantly, you become untouchable by mediocrity. When you're isolated by choice, you stop needing the tribe. You stop compromising for comfort. You stop asking for permission to level up. You make your own rules and enforce them with ruthless consistency. And those rules, they become your fortress, your standard, your quiet kingdom. This is when they start noticing, not when you post about your progress, not when you try to prove something, but when your absence speaks louder than their presence. When your energy is no longer freely available, people panic. They question it, they chase it. But you're already 10 moves ahead. You don't return to their world for connection, you return for conquest. In strategic isolation, you build systems. You build your body, your mind, your philosophy. You refine your speech, your posture, your instincts. Everything becomes intentional. Even your silence becomes deadly. While they sleep, you strategize. While they scroll, you study. While they gossip, you train. And when the week ends, they're still the same, but you've mutated, quietly, invisibly, completely. Isolation also exposes the parasites, those who only orbit you because you're accessible, because you listen to their problems, because you let their weakness leak into your mental domain. Once you cut the noise, you see them clearly. You realize most of them weren't friends. They were distractions with names, and you don't owe them access. Not anymore. Not as the man you're becoming. Cold? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. Because the next level of your life demands less people, not more. Less noise, less comfort, less compromise. So build in silence. Let solitude harden your resolve. Let the quiet sharpen your clarity. Speak only when it's calculated. Move only when it's strategic. Interact only when there's alignment. Train until even your shadow fears you. Return to society when the transformation is so complete, your old world can't even look you in the eye without feeling exposed. You'll know you've weaponized isolation when you no longer need anyone, yet everyone starts needing your presence. When they go from taking you for granted to wondering how they ever functioned without you. That's power, cold, quiet, unnegotiable. And it starts the moment you stop fearing being alone and start engineering it. Comment below. I choose isolation. I return as a weapon. Let it echo through the week. Part 8. Control every interaction. The average man walks into a room hoping to be liked. The exceptional man walks in already calculating how to control the frame. Understand this. Every interaction is a battlefield. Social, psychological, energetic. And you're either setting the terms or surrendering to someone else's. There is no such thing as a neutral conversation. Every word, every glance, every pause is either reinforcing your dominance or slowly eroding it. And most men, they give it away without even knowing. They speak too quickly, they try too hard, they over-explain, they seek validation with every word, tone, and facial twitch. That's why no one respects them. That's why they're forgotten. You want power? Control the frame. From the very first second, you dictate the energy. That's the Machiavellian way. Frame control starts internally. If you don't believe what you're saying, they won't either. If you need their agreement, they can feel it. And if they can feel your need, they own the interaction. Weak men crave to be understood. Strong men communicate to establish dominance, extract intel, or terminate noise. That's it. Conversation is not for emotional release. It's a strategic tool. You speak with intention. You listen for patterns. You observe responses. And above all, you never break your frame. Your frame is the internal belief system that defines your value, your vision, your rules. Once you let someone else shake it, you're no longer leading, you're reacting. And reaction is the enemy of power. When you walk into a room, you should already know your desired outcome, not just socially, psychologically, energetically. Do you want to raise tension, lower it, challenge, disarm, observe, influence? You decide before you open your mouth. That's what makes you dangerous. Most people are emotionally driven puppets, reacting to facial expressions, tone shifts, microaggressions. But you remain unmoved. You are the eye of the storm, calm, present, cold. Their panic cannot pull you. Their charm cannot lure you. Their opinions cannot reshape you. Control is rooted in contrast. The more reactive they are, the more stoic you become. When they speak quickly, you slow down. When they get emotional, you get quieter. When they try to provoke, you give silence. This contrast creates psychological imbalance. It forces them to chase equilibrium. And the one who is being chased controls. You are no longer the one dancing to their tempo. You set the tempo with tone, with pace, with your ability to stay centered while they unravel. There are 3 types of frame you must master. First, the dominant frame, used when you want to lead, control, direct. This is when you command without raising your voice. Second, the neutral frame, used in negotiations, interviews, debates. You appear impartial while subtly steering everything. Third, the dismissive frame, used when someone tries to pull you into emotional traps. You don't engage. You observe, you smirk, and you move on. This disarms egos. It breaks challenges. Because no man is more powerful than the one who cannot be baited. Now here's the truth. Most can't swallow. You do not owe anyone emotional comfort. Your goal in an interaction is not to make them feel good. It's to maintain control. If that creates discomfort, confusion, or intimidation, that's not your problem. That's their programming reacting to your presence. Good. Let it. Your responsibility is to protect your mental territory, and that means gatekeeping conversations. Learn to end things fast. Learn to interrupt low-value talk. Learn to look someone in the eye and say nothing until they break the silence. That's psychological warfare. And you win it not with more words, but with less emotion. Be deliberate with compliments. Use them to buy influence, not to signal submission. Be calculated with questions. Ask only to expose logic gaps, power dynamics, or hidden agendas. And above all, never explain yourself. Explanation is for approval. Clarification is for leaders. You owe no one your reasoning unless it strengthens your position. Let your outcomes speak. Let your discipline confirm your vision. Let your consistency build the reputation that words can't. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That's why you control what they see. You show them what supports your strategy and conceal the rest. Your voice becomes a weapon. Your presence becomes a signal. Your body language, eye contact, pauses, all carefully chosen to reflect exactly who you've decided to be. This is psychological architecture. You don't walk through life hoping for connection. You engineer perception. Control also means knowing when to withdraw. If a situation starts to reframe you into weakness, exit without hesitation. Real power is the ability to disengage cleanly without needing closure, revenge, or emotional drama. You vanish, you don't react, you don't return. Your detachment becomes terrifying because most people live off reaction. You kill reaction with silence. That's alpha, that's control. From now on, no interaction is just a conversation. It's either a step toward power or a step toward compromise. So speak with weight. Hold eye contact like a blade to the throat. Let every word sharpen your frame, and when they try to pull you out of it, smile and say nothing. They'll either fold, submit, or reveal their hand. Either way, you win. Comment below, "I control the frame. I control the outcome." Say it. Cement it. Part 9. Break the rules to build the empire. If you want to build an empire, yours, not theirs, you must be willing to break the rules, not the laws of nature, not the laws of war, but the false rules society feeds you to keep you obedient. The rules written by the weak for the weak. The rules that say, follow the system, be a good man, wait your turn, play fair, don't offend. These rules were not designed to empower you. They were designed to control you, to keep you small, predictable, compliant. And if you followed them your whole life, look around. What did it get you? Average results, dull routines, powerless conversations, emptiness disguised as stability, the illusion of choice. And now you're here because a deeper part of you knows. You were not made to obey. You were made to dominate. Every empire in history was built by men who broke the rules. Caesar crossed the Rubicon. Napoleon crowned himself. Genghis Khan shattered tribal codes. Machiavelli himself wrote, "The prince, not for the masses, but for the few who were bold enough to seize power unapologetically." Empires are not handed out, they are taken. And taking requires defiance. Not rebellion for the sake of noise, but rebellion with strategy. That's what makes it terrifying. That's what makes it effective. You don't scream that you're different. You move differently, quietly, calculated. You bend the environment to your vision while everyone else is waiting for permission to act. To build your empire, you must become the exception to every rule they told you was sacred. They said, hard work is enough. Wrong. Power is about leverage. They said, be honest always. Wrong. Truth is a tool, not a default. They said, loyalty matters most. Wrong. Loyalty without mutual power is just weakness in disguise. They said, don't step on toes. Wrong. Step on throats if necessary, because the empire you're building doesn't need approval. It needs results. And results require a different operating system, one written in solitude, strategy, and supreme discipline. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to be good. You are here to build what they fear. That means moving when others hesitate, saying what others suppress, taking action while others negotiate with doubt. You must learn how to bend people, systems, even reality to serve your mission, not through chaos, but through precision. This is not about destruction. It's about engineering outcomes through psychological warfare and cold clarity. It's about replacing the rulebook with your own. You don't become elite by doing what they do better. You become elite by doing what they won't even consider. You disappear when they gossip. You train when they drink. You speak with weight while they beg for attention. You use silence while they rely on noise. Every move you make must be designed to separate you from the herd, because the herd is where empires go to die. Their rules are built to protect the mediocre. Your mindset is built to extract control from every moment, no matter the cost. And yes, there will be cost, comfort, popularity, old friends who no longer understand the man you've become. Let them go. They were characters from your past story. You are writing a new one now, one where you no longer ask what's allowed, only what's effective. You don't hope the plan works. You don't wait to feel ready. You build, take, move. If it works, scale it. If it fails, replace it. That's how real empires are formed, not from intention, but from relentless execution. Your success is your revenge. Your silence is your strategy. Your vision is law, and your ability to break the rules without breaking yourself. That's your edge. Because while others fear consequence, you fear regret. You fear dying with potential still locked inside. And that fear, that's the fuel. Let it drive you to become what the rule followers can't even imagine. Let it remind you every single day, you are not here to obey, you are here to own. Comment below. I rewrite the rules. I build the empire. This isn't motivation, it's a declaration. Part 10. Become unrecognizable. This is the part they never see coming. The moment when the old version of you dies for good. The habits are gone. The softness is gone. The apologies are gone. And what's left? A man they no longer recognize. A presence that walks like consequence. A mind so focused, so sharpened, so cold, that it unsettles everything soft around it. You're not improving anymore. You've mutated, transformed, ascended. You no longer belong to the past, the crowd, or the noise. Your silence now speaks. Your stillness now commands. Your moves are precise. Your words are few. And your aura is heavy. This is what happens when discipline becomes identity, when power becomes natural, when solitude becomes home. They'll say, you've changed. That's the point. They'll say, you're different. You were supposed to be. You didn't come this far to remain familiar. You didn't endure the pain, the isolation, the discipline to be relatable. You came to build something they couldn't even conceptualize. You came to become unreachable. That's what this is. Not motivation, not hype, metamorphosis, and it's irreversible. This is your final command. Comment below. The old me is dead. I am unrecognizable. Let it be written. Let it be final. And now, you walk forward. No more self-doubt, no more waiting, no more softness, just action, just silence, just results. You are the weapon, you are the empire, you are the myth. This is Dark Power, and if this message hits something in you, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this is not where it ends, this is where it begins.